All right. Hello, everybody. I hope you are well. Let me make sure everything is working here tonight. It's 10 o'clock at night, guys. Welcome. Come on in wherever you are. Come on in so I can see you. And we can talk about what's going on here. Because I think that it is very important. It's very important. All right. Come on in. So, folks have seen that I put up a post, and that post basically said it talked about the Chicago unemployment rate and it talked about the migrant crisis. And I want to be clear here because, as y'all know, I've been highly busy, and so there's been less lives, more tweets, Twitter fingers, and Facebook, and I think I want to add voice to this so that people can understand where we truly are. This election right now, guys, campaign season is one of the worst seasons, in America in national politics, where we have the Democrats and Republicans both acting like they care about all people so that they can get enough votes so that they can get power over the system and infrastructure that really governs America. But that's another story. And we have real crises that are happening each and every day with folks in neighborhoods, throughout this country. And my problem with politics, and why I'm always vocal and I always, seem controversial, is because I always speak for the common man and woman. Those folks who are in the neighborhoods that really don't have it. Those folks who are in the neighborhood in survival mode. Those folks who are literally without resources and having to do everything that they can to try to pull themselves by their bootstraps and make something happen because there's no one coming to save them. I was that person. I grew up in that life. I grew up with a single mother doing it on her own. I grew up having to understand that there was not a politician or resource that was coming my way, that I had to get it by any means, and I had to use my creativity to be able to put me on a pathway that I got on. And so there are folks throughout neighborhoods that are in survival mode and they don't trust politics, which is why they don't vote. Majority of people in America don't vote. That's why the majority of people in Chicago didn't vote, and that's why we have the terrible mayor that we have today. Because the people that are in survival mode and the most disenfranchised by the systems don't believe in the system to participate. And so what I talked about today is a representation of that. It's a representation that Chicago has the highest unemployment rate of any metro city with an urban population in the country right now. 6.2%, over 100,000 people don't have jobs. Folks are literally living in food deserts. Folks are literally starving. Folks are literally homeless. Veterans are homeless, and there's no one coming to save them. There's no one coming to them to say, let me give you 6 months of free rent so that you can get on your feet. There's no one coming to the folks that can barely pay their rent and say, hey, let me pay your rent for the next 6 months because I want to help you in this hard time because I know you just got laid off. I know things are getting hard. I know that you are trying to juggle your bills and figure out which bill is a priority to pay for. I know that you're in hard times, so we're going to provide more rental assistance for you. Not just during COVID, but now COVID is over, we're still going to provide some assistance to you. There's no one coming to the folks, to the veterans who have served this country honorably, who have fought in wars, who have been shot at, who have been shot, who have seen bombs go off, who've been hit by bombs. There are no services. I see veterans in our neighborhoods all the time in veteran buildings, or barely can get housing services, barely can get any type of service back to them after they served this country. There's no one coming to them to say, hey, here's some resources for you, and you serve this country. I think that, when we really understand what is really going on and the folks in these neighborhoods, the kitchen table issues, the issues where American citizens have fought for these same resources and they haven't gotten anything. They've been to those council meetings. They've been to those alderman meetings, and they've asked for resources. They asked for places for their young people so that they can have community centers and they can have places for their young people to go. They asked for manufacturing hubs so that we can create a pipeline to middle-class jobs. When I was running for mayor, I met with all of the manufacturing companies in this city and surrounding the city. They said that thousands of jobs, manufacturing jobs, are open, and no one is creating a pipeline for folks to get into the manufacturing field. There's not programs in the schools. There's not trade programs for electricians and plumbing. We don't create the pipeline in these neighborhoods so that we can have sustainable jobs. But yet, folks, so I want y'all to understand, because this is not a migrant issue. This is not about them. And all those folks who out there who want to say that we're anti-them and we are xenophobic and all these bullshit names that they will label you as, do not be afraid of those folks who won't tell the truth. And so I am going to tell the truth for you. The truth is that the folks in these neighborhoods who've been suffering, who've been starving, who've been begging for resources, begging for jobs, the veterans who have served this country, they deserve better. This is not a political statement. I'm not running for office. The election ain't from years from now. I'm telling you, as a person who have come from these neighborhoods, who have seen these veterans, who have seen the folks on the street, who have taken care of homeless people, who have employed many homeless people and youth and things of that sort. I have done that work, so I know these very people who I'm talking about. But yet, folks can just walk across the border and just say that they are asylum seeking. That's all they have to say. All they have to say is that we are asylum seeking. They come over the border, and but before we are able to even do any type of checks, we do no checks, no background checks. We don't know where they came from. We don't know if they were in the cartels. We don't know if they're violent. Many of them have committed many crimes since they've been here. We don't know anything about them. And I'm not saying that's all of them, because it's not. But the point is that this group of people can come into the city of Chicago and receive immediate resources. They didn't have to ask. As soon as they got off the bus, it's a team right when they get off of the bus that the city has created. The city created a team, so when they get off of the bus, they're automatically pairing them to a shelter. They're automatically pairing them to health care through the county. They're automatically making sure that they eat $17 per migrant per day so that they can eat 3 times a day. We spend less on children in schools a day. We spend less on inmates in Cook County a day. We spend $17 per migrant so they can eat 3 times a day. We spend right now over $700,000 a day for shelters. We've spent over $50 million on 6 months of free rent over the last 18 months. We've spent over $125 million on food for contractors to feed them. We can go on down the line while these resources have been allocated, while folks have been asking for those same resources and they got nothing. They asked for those 50 schools that were shut down. They said, man, let's turn this school into a community center. Let's turn this school into a manufacturing hub. Let's turn this school into a fresh produce market. And you know what they did? They said no in 2013 when they shut them down. They said no in 2014. After they shut them down a year later, they said no in 2015, no in 2016, no in 2017, no in 2018, no in 2019, no in 2020, no in 2021, no in 2022, no in 2023. And all of a sudden in 2024, they want to use those buildings that they shut down over 10 years ago that were teaching our children. And now they want to hand it over to the migrant situation. I want y'all to understand that this is not about it ain't about them, because if I was a migrant, I'd be trying to come over here too. Let's be serious. If I was a migrant and they said, hey, Chicago, New York, and these sanctuary cities is going to give you immediate resources like this, I would be on the way too. So it's not about them. It's about leadership and their priorities of us. Because we elected you. We supported you. I ain't support Brandon Johnson, y'all know that. But some of y'all did. But the reality is that y'all supported these leaders. And these leaders are supposed to be working for you. Those folks can't vote. Those folks don't pay taxes. Those folks ain't have ancestors here. Those folks ain't never been to America. You elected these people. You pay taxes. You pay property taxes. You pay income taxes. You elected these politicians to work for you and your children. And the fact that they will leave you to starve. They will leave you to starve even if you're a veteran. They won't care if your children is running these streets because they ain't got nowhere to go. They don't care if you are out there sleeping in cardboard. Ain't no team gonna come and ask you if you want to go come to a shelter, give you 6 months of free rent. But yet they can do that for very people who are not citizens. Should be a slap in the face to all of the folks who pour into this country each and every day. Now, that's not a Republican stance. That's not a Make America Great Again stance. That's not a Donald Trump stance. That is a common sense American stance. Is that we're first. And if we are starving, if you can't help us, if we are homeless, we got 20,000 homeless youth in Chicago. We got 100,000 people that are unemployed in Chicago. We got thousands of people walking around with mental health problems. We got many neighborhoods without a grocery store. These are priority issues, and if you can't look us in the face and tell us that you got a plan for that, how can you look us in the face and spend millions of dollars each and every day? I said day, not week. Millions are going out every day. I said that we're spending over $700,000 on shelters right now, every day. Almost $1 million on shelters a day, just us on shelters. So think about the food. Think about the monthly rent that we're paying. Think about the health care. Think about the child care, because we have child care in place and we're paying child care providers to watch their children. We are paying transportation providers to transport them around. So multi-millions, millions, several millions of dollars a day is going out the window. And we're not getting support for these services. Don't let people fool you and tell you that this is Republican. It ain't Republican. It's me deserving the resources that I voted for, that I put my money and tax dollars in. So you got to understand, go look at your tax bill. Go look at your tax bill and see where your tax dollars are going. Is your school being funded? Is your school even a decent school for you to send your kids to? Most of you is not. Chicago public school system, one of the worst systems in the country. Your school don't even provide decent lunch for your kid. We allocate not even $5 a day per kid, but the migrants get $17 a day. So they get more quality meals than the children, your children that you send to the schools. Go look at your tax dollars and see. Is it going to development of your neighborhoods like it's supposed to? Your neighborhoods don't have no development. You got vacant properties and vacant houses all down your block, and they got the nerve to have a DNC in Chicago. You want to have a DNC in Chicago and you are not addressing the issues that we are talking about, but yet you can spend billions. I said billions with a B, not an M. Billions of dollars on this crisis is automatically priority over us. This is not Republican. And that's why I tell y'all all the time, get something for your vote. I don't give a damn that Kamala could be the first black woman. I don't give a damn that Kamala could be the first woman president. I don't care about none of that. What I care about is these people right here in these neighborhoods that I'm fighting for each and every day, are their lives going to change? Will they actually get something this time? Or are they just going to say, I got the first black woman president? Are they just going to say, I got the first woman to see the first woman president? Do that sound right, that we are hinging our hope on symbolism? But yeah, you walk out your door and you getting carjacked. You walk out your door and you got to go miles to get to a store that even got a fresh green pepper or some produce. You walk out your door and you walking past homeless people down every block that you walk. You walk out your door and you walking past abandoned buildings and they knocking them down and have no plan to put a new building up. You walking out your door and seeing that, but yet you are okay with just getting symbolism? No. Vote for Kamala all you want to. All I said was push Kamala in the corner and get something. Get something. Because all those folks out there who talked about Barack Obama and the fact that we got the symbolism, our neighborhoods look the same before he was in office and after he was in office. And the reality is a lot of folks, they try to fool y'all and say, well, they got to be president for everybody. Well, don't everybody mean black people? How come when they become president and the Asians say they getting hate, the Asians get an anti-hate bill? We fought for George Floyd all over 50 states, and we couldn't even get a hate bill. How come when the Jewish community step up and say we got to be pro-Israel, that the Republicans and the Democrats both say they pro-Israel? Nobody will say that they pro-Gaza and they want the water. A real ceasefire. You got to protest all over just to get a few people to say they want a ceasefire. But guess what? The Jewish lobby in AIPAC are the most powerful lobby in the country. So they don't go against them when they walk into their presidency. When they walk into the presidency, no community have to wait on something for them, because they're gonna demand it and they're gonna get it. Black people are the only people that think that they don't belong in everybody when they say who's going to become president. We are part of everybody. So we need an agenda. Kamala, Donald, we need an agenda so that the folks in these neighborhoods can feel your presidency. How many times we got to do this, and how many times we got to go through this over and over again with this symbolism? And you want to call it controversial and say, oh, stop allowing them to let you fear Trump or fear anybody. It's going to be another Republican in 4 years. They're going to tell you to fear that Republican. How are we going to fear something? How black folks going to fear something when we done went through everything that you can been through? Everything. And there ain't been one president in the history that have drastically changed black people's lives. So we have been through everything. You can't scare us. All you can do is tell us what you're going to do for us. So when they come to you and say, well, we just don't want Trump in office, tell them that's not enough. Tell me what you're going to do. I don't have a problem giving you my vote. I don't have a problem voting for the first black woman. I don't have a problem voting for the first woman. I don't have a problem playing into y'all symbolism. But you must give me something with my vote. And if you don't, then I'm not going to vote for you. And if we stood together and unified like that, then y'all neighborhoods can look different. So let me tell y'all something, man. We have to do better this election season. I am proud to see many folks who are actively using their voices to be critical, because we're supposed to. Our children's lives are on the line. And if all you want to give to your children is you can say that you've seen the first black man president and the first black woman, that's enough for you. Not the fact that your children can't even read at the level that they're supposed to be reading in their school. Not the fact that your children can even get a good job or be able to open up a business or have a trade so that they can be something in life and live the American dream and build a family that they were supposed to build. If you can't look your children in the eyes and say, young man and young woman, you could be anything you want to be in this country, then you are failing them by telling them symbolism is enough. Our kids deserve better. Our kids deserve to live the American dream. And if it has to be created, we create it. Our kids deserve to live in neighborhoods where they don't have to walk around in fear. Our kids deserve to go to schools and be properly educated. Our kids deserve to be able to have a pathway to be successful. Elon Musk shouldn't be the richest man in the world. We should have many rich black kids. All these kids all throughout these neighborhoods deserve the opportunity to have new inventions and build cars and code and have trade. All of these kids deserve that opportunity. And if your president or your mayor or any elected official that you decide to support does not have an agenda for the next generation, then you are failing. You are a part of failing the next generation. What's going on right now is sickening, guys. And I'm okay with being a bad guy. And I'm okay with being controversial. I don't want to go to the Democrats' Christmas party next week, the Democratic National Convention. Of course they wanted me there. Of course they offered me things. I don't want to come to the party just so I can say I'm with the Democrats. I don't play those games. I could. I got the influence. Of course I can play the Democrat role and get invited to the Christmas parties and shuck and jive and, oh, yeah, we around. I don't play those games, guys. So I'm okay with being a bad guy. I'm going to say what needs to be said. And what needs to be said in both conventions, in both candidates, they need to have an agenda that represents not all of America. And all of America means Black America too. Everybody needs to be represented. Everybody needs to feel, every politician that you vote for, you need to feel their presidency in some way. We have the worst mayor in Chicago's history right now. We feel that. Do y'all not feel it? Because I feel it every time I go outside. We have the worst mayor in history. They called me a sellout and tried to make up all type of rumors and went and got an old picture from many years ago of me and Paul Vallis. They called me a sellout and said that because I'm not supporting Brandon Johnson because he's Black, I sold out the community. I was quiet. I said, you're going to see who's really the sellout. Brandon Johnson, the worst mayor that Chicago has ever seen, who cares nothing about making sure that the actual citizens are represented. He spent more money on the migrant crisis than he spent on anybody in Chicago. He has an agenda that does not represent the actual residents. And if you people keep falling for it and falling for the symbolism, then you deserve everything that you see. It don't even feel like we got a mayor in Chicago. Every single day is a new scandal on how they playing us right in our faces. And y'all are sitting back complacent and content when we should be outraged. Every single one of you out there should not be sitting back while your life is at stake, while your kids' lives are at stake. You should be making your voices heard. Shout out to all those folks at city council meetings. Shout out to all those folks that's writing letters, that's making phone calls, that's protesting, that's showing up. Palestinians shouldn't be the only one protesting all over this country. It's folks out here that have actually, right here in America, being slaughtered each and every day. Black folks are being slaughtered by their own. Black folks are being slaughtered by others. It is many different cultures that are being slaughtered that are not getting their just due in America. Palestinians shouldn't be the only one protesting. Folks should be outraged and folks should be stepping up and letting their voices heard. It is time that we stand up for our children. Not for you. It's not about us. It's about the next generation. It's about our kids and giving them a better environment to grow up in. So I just wanted to get that off of my chest because I am so sick of seeing our people suffer, all while many other groups of people are thriving. We have to do better. And that means that we must stand together, unify, create an agenda for your community, and back that agenda 100%. So I just wanted to say that. I wanted to get that off of my chest. Please share this video wherever you are on any social media network that you're watching this on. Please share this video and let folks know. Stop allowing them to label you because you being critical. Stop allowing them to call you Republican and call you Trump. They've been saying that about me for the last year. All because I'm saying that we deserve something. If I say we deserve something, that don't mean that I'm voting for Donald Trump. You don't know who I'm voting for. I'm independent. I don't like either one of them. To tell you the truth, I don't give a damn that one got the color of me. I don't. Because it's the ones that's the color of us that they're going to use to wreak destruction on you. Do you not understand they play? They go and get people that look like me, put them in a high place, people who ain't even from here. Brandon Johnson from Elgin. Lori Lightfoot was from Ohio. These people don't even come from our city or really is in tune with who we are. They ain't never was at none of our Christmas parties or barbecues or shooting with us at the gym. But all of a sudden during campaign season, they are chosen to represent the agenda of them. And it ain't your agenda because you didn't put them there. All they did was use you for your vote. And they put a black face in place so that they can look at you and say, well, look at the black man and what he doing down there. That's y'all guy. So that they can fool us and play in our faces. Stop looking at the color and look at the substance. I didn't support Brandon Johnson. And I'm the most, y'all know how I've been for many years. I ain't support him because I knew he didn't support us. I didn't support him because I knew he didn't have agenda for communities. I didn't support him because I knew what he was going to do with the migrant crisis because he said it. He said it to me at my dining room table just a few feet away from here. He came to this house and sat with me and told me what he was going to do. And I said, you out your mind, Brandon Johnson. You going to come to my dining room table and tell me this is what you're going to do with the migrant crisis, but you can't tell me an agenda for the very people that are suffering? Hell no, I'm not supporting you, Brandon Johnson. I said that at my dining room table and in this house when he came to beg me for my support. And I'm telling you this so that you can understand that we can't just be accepting nothing just because they look like us. Stop allowing them to play in our faces, putting up these folks for symbolism. Get something for your vote. Get something for your tax dollars. Understand that you pay a lot of taxes. You pay all the taxes and you don't even care about the quality of life that you're getting. You're paying thousands of dollars in taxes and your quality of life is terrible. It's terrible. Your quality of life is terrible. Your community quality of life is terrible. You can't walk to nothing. You can't walk to no good businesses. You can't walk. You can't go to no good store in the neighborhood. Your kids running around carjacking the kid boys, stealing everybody's cars. Your quality of life is terrible. And you going to work paying taxes and paying property taxes or paying income taxes and all these different taxes. We got the most taxes and we got air tax in Illinois. We got taxes everywhere. And you are not holding your politicians accountable? And your quality of life is poor? But the folks who not paying taxes can walk over the border and say, I'm asylum seeking and get all of the resources that you're supposed to get? But you sitting back cool with that. Come on, man. We got to be for real. We got to stand up and everybody need to be outside of DNC next week. It's time to show up and stand up and shut that shit down. DNC need to know you coming to Chicago where we got the worst everything, but we got the best everything too. We got the best people, the best culture, the best skyline. We got the best, a lot of best things, but we are worse in a lot of areas. We got high rates of violence. We got 30,000 cars that were stolen in the last year, more than in I don't know how many years of history. We got a horrible migrant crisis going on right now. You are coming to where all of the problems lie at your feet, and you need to see it. Let's tour you around and show you what's going on in Chicago and show you why the Democratic agenda has not worked for us. And so you need to provide a new agenda that's going to work for these people, or you're going to lose them. Hold them accountable. Stand up, show out. You should be in front of the DNC next week to make sure that the DNC hear your cries. So, yeah, so I want to say that. Chicago, guys, I love y'all. And I give no damn to all of the people who be like, you so controversial, that's why you're not mayor. I give no damn. I ran for mayor to make the impact that was needed. If it's somebody else that can make that impact, I'm okay with that. I'm going to always be okay. This is not about ego. See, when we get into these things and we this is about ego and all these agendas, this is not about ego and agendas. The only reason why I ever ran for mayor of this city was because there was not a voice that represents the actual neighborhoods. So that was the only reason why I ran for mayor, not because I wanted my name in highlights. If you continue to have elections where you don't have people who represent the neighborhoods that are actually suffering, then this is what you're going to get. So we have to do better with our elected officials and vetting them and understanding where they actually come from. Where did you come from, Brandon Johnson? Well, I came from Elgin, Illinois, from a pastor family with 10 kids. So you're not from Chicago? No, I just got here. Because he did. How long you was teaching, Brandon? I was teaching for about 2 years. And the principal of that school said he was the worst teacher in history. But the point is he was able to play and say, hey, I was a teacher, guys. You never even saw a graduating class. You guys need to understand who you electing. You elected somebody who ain't never ran a lemonade stand and who never was a teacher for one graduating class because he never was a teacher for 4 years. He only a teacher for 2. And all he can say is, I work for the teachers union. Okay, what you was doing? Lobbying. Okay, what you was lobbying for? Whatever Stacey Gates told me to lobby for. Okay, so does this sound like somebody that actually understands your interests? Let's be serious. You have to understand the people that you're voting for. And you need to run. The people out in these communities who are actually running, who are from these communities, you got to support these folks. Because these folks are going up against the machine. They're going up against these unions who are trying to just buy political power, but they're not trying to represent you. And that's why we have what's going on in Chicago today. A terrible situation in which the citizens are being put last. Not first, last, behind a group of people. Again, it's not their fault, because if I was a migrant, I'd be coming to Chicago too. Behind a group of people, all they had to do was walk across the border. They don't pay no taxes. They didn't fight in no wars. All they did was come across the border and get allocated tens of thousands of dollars per person. And yet, your very people in your neighborhoods are not allocated a damn thing. Your kid ain't getting offered no job. Only job that the city is offering you is a summer job for minimum wage for a few weeks. Why we ain't got real sustainable jobs that we're actually offering young people and folks who need middle-class jobs, parents who need middle-class jobs? We have to change the dynamic of this city, and it's not going to change by playing political games. It's going to change by electing people who actually going to represent you. So if you voted for this, take accountability for it. And now hold your people accountable, your elected officials accountable. And now going forward, please vet and make sure that you are electing people who give a damn about you and your children. Because it hurts my heart to watch what's going on in our city and in cities all across this country. As far as the national election go, hold accountable both parties. I'm independent. I don't subscribe to either. I'm telling you, and I'm not going to tell you my vote, I'm telling you that I need to hear an agenda that represents the interest of all people. But all people include people that look like me too. So let's be critical. Let's challenge. Let's be better for our children. We can do this, but all of you guys got to get off of the plantation. And everyone needs to be independent. Everyone, all of you guys watching, all y'all should be independent. Don't say you Democrat, Republican. Be independent so you can critically think. Get in your own bubble. Listen to what they're saying. Research what they're saying and make a good judgment on who is going to make you and your children's lives better. Take the politics and the fears and, oh, he did this and Kamala did this and all. Take all that bull crap that they throwing on TV out the way. Focus on policy and how it's going to change your life. So, guys, please share this video. Tag people in this. Let folks know that they need to hear this. This message is for folks all across the country who is wondering what's going on in a political climate. nationally and in Chicago. And I want to see our city do better. I want to see us do better all across this country. And, going forward, we just have to do better. And that means that we actually got to pay attention to what's going on and make decisions that make sense. So I love y'all. I'll be back. I'm going to start doing more lives so that y'all can hear me. I know I've been very busy, but I just want y'all to know that we got to do this together. Let's all be independent and critically think, y'all. Peace and love, everybody. I will talk to all of you guys very soon.